I'm the Walrus Clown, and welcome to episode 50, where I finally tear Teen Titans Go a new one. Otter, roll that beautiful 50 episode special opening. Anywho, on to the technicals. One day, a group of writers, producers, and animators got together and decided to reboot Teen Titans into a comedy action spoof. Then decided that doing that was way too hard and collectively gave up. But they wanted to keep their jobs anyway, so they outsourced everything to a drug-addled hobo living in the alleyway behind DC Comics headquarters, where he gave up any hope of getting a paying job by taking the Teen Titans Go on DVD and pooping on it and turning it in anyway. And instead of firing everyone, the higher-up said, it's just a kid's show, they'll watch anything, who gives a shit, and greenlit it anyway. And now on to the series proper. Where to start? I know, something that's never been said about the show before. For a show that's supposed to be comedy, it sure isn't very funny. Another point being that, seeing as how I've been reading DC Comics from the mid-90s till New 52 pissed me off to the point where I stopped reading, is that the characters are completely ruined. Let's start with Dick Grayson. And yes, given what we've seen in this and the original cartoon, this is supposed to be the original Robin that grew up and became Nightwing. Anywho, Dick went from being Batman's former sidekick, who also happened to be the patriarch of the Titans, to being a slightly more ambitious, but still emotionally and mentally recognizable as Dick Grayson, Flanderized version of Robin, to being a loud, obnoxious, unfunny, annoying, self-centered asshole who couldn't lead a horse to water, let alone a super team. Next, Raven. She was a very emotionally closed-off being in the original comics and was afraid of emotional closeness to the point where they had an entire issue dedicated to her and Starfire having a conversation about relationships and how they worked, to being somewhat of a tsundere goth, which is a pretty good adaptation for how her character worked, to being all the same things as Robin, only with every episode about her being a straw man plot and about her being wrong. And a few Twilight Sparkle and Raven have the same voice actress jokes thrown in to my annoyance. Garfield Logan, who was always meant to function as the comic relief, went from being somewhat of a cross between Michelangelo from TMNT, 90s kid from Atop the Fourth Wall, and a womanizer, to training in the womanizing for being a vegan hippie, which is fine, the 4 kids mentality and all, to being everything that every other character is in Go, except for being all those things times 10 to the point where he's basically pure cancer. And now for Starfire, who suffered the worst from the comic to original show adaptation process. In the pre-New 52 universe, she was a highly emotional being who wore her emotions on her sleeve and was a classic angry girl who swore all the time. Yeah, every time you hear her say the word Thal in the comics, it was her literally using the god of her planet's majority religion's name in vain. To being somewhat of an overly happy, not quite hippie. If I had to pick a stock personality to replace it with, it would be tsundere. But you can't have 2 of them in the same show, so changing that was a boon in the show's favor. To being all the same things as the other characters, only with the overuse of the word the before the name of things, from the much better cartoon adaptation. Joy bunnies. And finally we come to Cyborg, who got the worst in the original show to Go adaptation. He went from being the elder statesman of the team, being the oldest who wasn't actually a teenager, who was alienated by his cybernetic parts, which is pretty well adapted into 2000s cartoon very well, to the point where a lot of the imagery associated with him mentoring amputee children was captured pretty well in the episode The Sum of His Parts, to being just as loud, self-centered, obnoxious, annoying, and unlikable as the rest of our cast of losers. For the sake of getting my point across, let's go over several episodes, starting with the original episode, Legendary Sandwich, where we start with Starfire and the guys being annoying and obnoxious as possible to Raven, who is trying to watch the My Little Pony stand-in show, Pretty Pretty Pegasus. So she bullshits up a story about a demonic sandwich that can make one immortal. After some scenes where 3 of the Titans fight monsters guarding the ingredients and Ron waiting in line at the grocery store to get bread to make the sandwich, they return, and Raven is shocked that it's real because she just made it all all up. Then casts a spell to make the sandwich, only for Silky to eat it. Did the writers not realize that character likability is the most important thing because the characters are what the audience will be getting attached to and be tuning in to see? Did they think this was an original plot or something? Because I'm pretty sure both Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Ninja Sex Party both did the whole demonic sandwich thing 1,000 times better than this did. And now for the next episode, Waffles, which is one of the more infamous episodes to have the annoying moniker. It's an episode where Beast Boy and Cyborg are playing a game to see who can say the word waffles the most. And as a result, are saying nothing but the word waffles. This has an idea for a joke, but it falls apart by having the villain of the episode, Brother Blood, play the straight man to the Titans' weirdness, which is always a no-no because the straight man is supposed to be the audience proxy to express how weird the actions of the cast are, and we are not supposed to attach ourselves to the villain that way. Which helps segue us into another point about the lackluster comedy. 9 times out of 10, there is no straight man. Which means that it's just stupid random bullshit upon stupid random bullshit. Now, not to say that stupidity and lol random can't be done in a way that's actually funny. Randomness and stupidity are just another tool in the artist's toolkit to make the audience feel the emotion they intend you to. But like every tool, you need to know how to use it or otherwise the end product will not be of acceptable quality. And this cartoon clearly doesn't understand how to use them. Moving on. And now we have the return of Slade, a ratings trap if there ever was one. And the first in a long line of now infamous Take That to Critics episodes that they do once a season. Where after an audience dupe where they fake Deathstroke the Terminator showing up, and no, I do not care that they call him Slade in the original cartoon. Slade is his civilian name. When the mask is on, he's Deathstroke the Terminator, god damn it. Anywho, Robin decides to throw a celebratory party for beating Deathstroke, and they can have whatever kind of entertainment they want. So Cyborg and Beast Boy want to have a clown, which will be the one-to-one allegory for liking cartoons as an adult. And the episode is about bashing fans of the original show because they should have outgrown cartoons and whatnot by bashing how adults are making cartoons extreme by the idiot duo making the clown extreme just to enjoy something they should have quote-unquote outgrown by now, etc, 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 only for Starfire, who is afraid of clowns in this, to kill the clown. And the episode ends. I don't remember where I read this at all, so take this with a grain of salt, but the post-extremified clown, by the writer's own admission, is meant to be a parody of DC Comics character Lobo, who himself was a parody of all those overly hairy, knuckle-dragging, overly violent Neanderthals Rob Liefeld was pooping out every 5 seconds of an early 90s image. So this clown is officially a parody of a parody, which is always mean-spirited, which is clearly where every Take That to Critics episode, irregardless of what show it comes from, fall into, being mean-spirited. Good shows like My Little Pony and the original Powerpuff Girls couldn't pull off a Take That to Critics episode despite the fact that both tried. I mean, damn. Just damn. And now for what is considered to be the best episode by far, 40%, 40%, 20%. I am not anything if not fair, and will praise a show for doing a good when it does a good. The animation is amazing. The song that is used for this music video is also amazing. The art style could work as its own show. The problem is that this isn't really a Teen Titans Go episode. It starts normally enough with Cyborg annoying everyone with his new favorite song, but then the music video starts and it stops being Teen Titans Go. It can only make a good episode by not writing a Teen Titans Go episode. Think about that for a minute. Anywho, now moving on to the least appropriate name for what actually happens in an episode ever, Money Grandma. Which is what I personally consider the worst episode by far. Not because of anything it does, but because with a bit of tweaking, it would have worked as an episode of the original series. In the episode in question, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey happens and George Washington is there because reasons. Him and Robin have a rabble over leadership, George Washington becomes leader of the Titans because voting, unphony shenanigans happen. Robin becomes leader again, blah blah blah. As was said before, with a tweak, this could have worked as an original series episode. Let me show you. First, let's have Robin get his confidence as team leader get shaken by having a call he made get, I don't know, Starfire hurt somehow. Only for Carter Hall, aka the original Golden Age Hawkman and the original chairman of DC Comics' first super team, the Justice Society, to show up and step in to pinch hit to help Robin get his sea legs back, as it were. Only for him and his hit things with my mace until they are bloody pulp on the ground style of problem solving go too far, and Robin regains his mojo by standing up to Carter, and have Hawkman learn to simmer down a bit. See what I mean? It would be a lot better than listening to Titans scream all their lines like in every other episode of Go anyway, infuriating as it is.
Hey, you tired of screaming? I'll give you screaming.
We are tired of everyone not praising us, and ever since making episodes where we take a dump on the critics isn't working, we'll beat up everyone until they change their minds.
Randomness and stupidity are just another tool in the artist's toolkit to make the audience feel the emotion they intend you to. But like every tool, you need to know how to use it, or otherwise the end product will not be of acceptable quality. And this cartoon clearly doesn't understand how to use them. It's time to show these toddlers what real cartoon heroes are like. I call upon the power of random bullshit and power the random! Raven is the most powerful. She's mine!
We have the trump card up our sleeves.
So do we. Phantom the Rings. Shazam! Oh, what is it you want, young masters? Make the Teen Titans kaiju go away! Oh, nothing could be simpler. And that takes care of that. Anywho, that was episode 50, and here's hoping all of you out there hit the sub button and click the bell and join me for 50 plus more. If you want the movie reviewed, then hit subscribe, click that bell, and help me get 500 subscribers. Anywho, see you next time. This is the Slade. You'll want to subscribe, hit the bell, and watch more. Something, 20 seconds, yeah. Seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds, yeah.